What's going on, everyone? So the San Antonio Spurs are a very interesting team this season. Adding in Chris Paul, adding in Harrison Barnes. You got another year of Victor Wembanyama coming off of a great run in the Olympics, getting all the way to the gold medal game against Team USA. Victor Wembanyama should be ready to take some strides, take some steps this upcoming season. And going and getting a guy like Chris Paul, said it before, I'll say it again, probably the best move they could have made outside of like getting like a Jokic or something like that, right? And you're seeing the impact already from Chris Paul, just the education that he's getting across to these guys. There's already videos going around of Chris Paul just kind of showing Victor things and kind of pointing things out on the basketball court and stuff, and kind of just helping and working with the various players, right? Chris Paul is going to have an incredible impact for the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs are expected to kind of take some strides this year. Now, there aren't really these expectations of like winning a championship or anything like that, but there is expectations of them starting to show some real progress. And they do have some talent, right? We still got to see like what is going to be their locked in five, at least at the time of recording this video. Obviously, it's very possible that we could end up getting that information soon. But, you kind of look like Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Victor Wembanyama. Ideally, the four guys that are essentially locked as your starters. And then it's like, okay, well, do you go with Harrison Barnes at the 4 and go with like, Stephon Castle maybe, or Keldon Johnson? Do you go with, say Jeremy Sohan instead of, moving Barnes to the 4 and keep Barnes at the 3, right? You got options, you got flexibility. But San Antonio Spurs also have bad news in regards to Devin Vassell, because Devin Vassell, a couple days before going into media day and getting ready for training camp, was relayed that he had surgery and he is going to be out for some time, which hurts the Spurs, right? Because this is a team that, again, has some real expectations, a lot of excitement for Devin Vassell. How does he look alongside, another year of Victor Wembanyama, alongside Chris Paul? Can he kind of start taking those next steps, right? Was just a hair under 20 a game. Can he start getting to that 23 to 25 range, and really kind of see the Spurs start taking those real significant strides? But here's what Devin Vassell had to say, kind of go over quite a little bit. So let's get into it. After the season, obviously was dealing with this injury in my foot. Tried to let it heal naturally, and it just didn't heal how it was supposed to, said Vassell. I needed to get a surgery to get it cleaned up. My surgery was in June 26th, which is my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to my mom. Now I've just been rehabbing to get it right, and I'm close to returning. Vassell said he's set to be reevaluated on November 1st, with the hopes he'll be fully recovered, but he's not going to rush his return with the risks of it delaying his recovery process. Trust me, we're super close, Vassell reassured. In the meantime, Vassell is excited to see who steps up in his absence. There's a window of opportunity for Spurs rookie Stephon Castle to pick up more minutes until Vassell returns. We have some great players on our team who can come in and step up. I'm actually excited for them to see how they step up in that role. I'm working every day to get back, and as soon as I can get back, and as soon as I know that my foot is good and I'm 100% healthy, I will be back on that court. Just being disruptive, Vassell said, of the team's identity in 2024-2025. I think if we can get out in those passing lanes, get out in transition, we're running, throwing lobs, having a good time, getting open threes, early threes, when you're in transition is probably the most fun. It starts with getting stops, though, talking about the defensive side of things. It's a new year. It's a new wave. It's a bunch of young teams who are coming in. You look at OKC. You look at some of these teams who got a lot of young guys there. They're taking over the league. I look at us, and I'm like, why not us? Which is right. Spurs are a very good young team that could potentially be there. But before we get into the Devin Vassell side of things, he is right. Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, guys like that really have an opportunity here to kind of start taking some strides, right? Kind of step up in Vassell's absence. Because you talk about a guy that giving you 20 a game, right? I think he was like 19 and a half. And you got a guy and a rookie in Stephon Castle that you want to see get some significant run, get some significant minutes. And with Vassell being out, it may kind of open the door for Castle to actually get more opportunity than he may have gotten otherwise. Now, look, there's a real argument to start him, period, right? Because of his size, because of his length, because of his versatility, slotting him kind of at that 3 and maybe moving Harrison Barnes to the 4, right? And I mean, you could move Vassell to the 3 if you wanted to, however, right? Like, basically him and Vassell kind of be interchangeable at that 2 and 3, but have a guy in Castle who can kind of be the dirty work guy, do a little bit of everything, be the hustle guy, play some defense, right? Kind of get comfortable out there. But now without Vassell, it's like, okay, well, who do you go with? How do you approach this starting lineup? And even if you don't start Vassell, even with Devin Vassell, or don't start Castle, even with Devin Vassell being out, still, again, opens the door for Castle to kind of step up and potentially get more opportunity than he would have gotten otherwise, right? My guess is without Vassell, you probably go with Keldon Johnson just to kind of give you that offensive firepower, because Keldon Johnson is a guy that can go get you 20 plus on any given night. He is a guy that can go get buckets. He's kind of been that 6th man and kind of adopted that 6th man role, but he's more than capable of being slotted into the starting unit in Vassell's absence. There's a couple things Vassell does better. And Keldon Johnson can kind of get some tunnel vision at times. Can kind of play a little more selfish at times. But give you that scoring punch. He's had that kind of new body transformation. He's been working on his first step, his lateral quickness, his agility, things like that. So, he is a guy that maybe could take some real strides and kind of be the guy. My guess is he's probably the guy that steps up. He's probably the guy that kind of steps in that role. And then Pop kind of continues to bring along Stephon Castle slower. Right? Now, again, that doesn't mean that he's not going to get any significant run or playing time or minutes or opportunity on the basketball court. But even saw like with Wemby last season. Pop kind of took his time. Right? I mean, there's games where it's like Wemby's playing 19 minutes. Like, why is Wemby only playing 19 minutes? And then you saw as the season progressed, Wemby started getting his legs under him, started getting a good feel and understanding. All of a sudden, you look up and it's like, oh, okay, now he's playing 35 minutes a game or even more in some cases. But as far as Devin Vassell goes, this is a huge blow. Again, there's not really the expectations for the Spurs to go and be a 60-win team or anything like that, or win the championship this year. But you kind of want to see sooner rather than later what Vassell can do and provide. And, if he is able to take any significant strides and kind of grow his game, right? Like I've talked about, can he start moving into that low to mid 20 range? You start seeing guys start taking those strides where they're like 16 to 19, and then they just kind of take that leap. And all of a sudden they go from like 16 to 19 to like, 24 a game or something like that. You look at a guy like Jalen Brunson, averaged, 16 a game, goes to the Knicks, kind of gets the opportunity, boom. All of a sudden he's averaging, 25, and then lo and behold, 30. Right? Now, obviously Devin Vassell, not the number one option, right? So I'm not expecting him to go out and average 30 or anything like that. That's why I said, can he get to that 22 to, 24 range, somewhere in that ballpark? It's a guy that averaged just a hair under 20 last season. Now, it does say he's supposed to be reevaluated in November 1st, which means if he comes back early November, then he's only going to miss a couple handful of games at most, which is good. But you also don't want to rush him, right? Like Keldon Johnson said, he doesn't want to come back till he's 100%. That's true. You don't want to rush Devin Vassell back and he plays 20 games and then ends up missing 62, right? You'd rather him miss those 20 games so he can play 62. You don't want it to be the reverse. And again, it's also a team that's not you're not fighting for seeding. You're not trying to win a championship this year. Obviously, I'm not saying if they have the opportunity they won't, right? But the expectations isn't that. This is in many ways a continued development year. You brought in the vets to kind of help get the young guys along, kind of expedite things a little bit, right? And unless Devin Vassell moves into that like 27 range and Wemby, really starts, moves into the top 5 range, probably not contending for a championship, right? Get lucky, get into the playoffs, couple matchups fall your way, couple rolls of the dice kind of go your way. All of a sudden you're in like the conference finals or something. Sure, I'm not going to put a ceiling and a cap on the Spurs, but again, take your time with Vassell. There's no need to really rush. You want the best version of him as possible, so keep it that way. Keep yourself in a position of where you get the best version of him. Like I mentioned earlier, you trade the 20 games so he can play 66 or 62. Not the other way around where, he plays 20 games and misses 62. You want him to play as close to 82 games as possible. But however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you make of this injury? Are you disappointed? Do you think like, it's all right? It'll be fine. He'll be back early. At most he misses a month. But he'll be back and new and improved. What's your thoughts on the Spurs this upcoming season? Do you have some optimism? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.